Have you ever wondered how to get someone to like you? They may think you're pretty all right, whether this is a crush, friend, or acquaintance, but you want them to jump for joy at the mere sight of you. Well, that may not be so easy to happen, the literal jumping, but there are a few things that people find likable. Do you do these things? Possess these traits? People are more likely to like you if you do these 5 things. Number 1, you're holding a warm beverage. Do you like your coffee hot or iced? If you prefer your beverages cold, then you may need to switch over to the hot side. You may just come across as hotter. This study does suggest you may come across as warmer. A 2008 study published in the academic journal Science found that if you're holding a warm beverage, people may perceive you as more personable. The researchers conducted 2 studies with interesting results. The study states, in study 1, participants who briefly held a cup of hot versus iced coffee judged a target person as having a warmer personality, generous, caring. In study 2, participants holding a hot versus cold therapeutic pad were more likely to choose a gift for a friend instead of for themselves. How sweet of them. See, you may not only be perceived as sweet as the hot cocoa you're holding on your date, but hopefully as hot as it is too. We can only dream, right? Number 2, they see you in a group first. Do you hang out with your friends often in large groups? No? Well, you might as well say yes to that next group outing because it may make others see you as more attractive and even like you more. Research shows that people tend to find others more attractive when they are in groups than on their own. This idea is called the cheerleader effect and has been proven through tests by psychologists to be consistent. Researchers Edward Vull and Drew Walker of the University of California, San Diego conducted 5 experiments where subjects would rate people based on photographs of them. They found that subjects rated people more attractive when they were pictured in a group of the same gender compared to an individual photograph of someone pictured alone. As the study suggests, individual faces will seem more attractive when presented in a group because they will appear more similar to the average group face, which is more attractive than group members' individual faces. Number 3, you make small mistakes sometimes. Do you often make mistakes? It's time to rejoice. Your time has arrived to be appreciated. Well, kind of. While it's best to be our best selves, small mistakes and blunders are bound to happen from time to time. While you may think of this as an embarrassing or unattractive thing, sometimes people perceive it as the opposite. A study published in the journal Psychonomic Science found that if you make some small mistakes but still show that you are capable and intelligent, you may be seen as more attractive. In the study, researcher Aronson had people rate fake test takers based on their attractiveness. Test takers would either do great on a test, mediocre, or poor. The imperfection? Some test takers would act clumsy and spill coffee at the end of the interview. After their scores were revealed, people rated the test takers who spilled coffee at the end of their interview the highest on the attractive scale, meaning people want to see you are intelligent and capable, but that you aren't perfect. As the research paper states, a superior person may be viewed as superhuman and therefore distant. A blunder tends to humanize them and consequently increases their attractiveness. Poor test takers, mediocre test takers, and even great test takers were still rated lower than the superior test taker who scored great and spilled coffee at the end. Others may be intimidated if you come across as perfect and make no mistakes. They want to see your human side. But when you show you're capable and yet still relatable as a human being who makes mistakes, people tend to like you more. Number 4, you give people compliments. Do you enjoy receiving compliments? Are you pretty good at telling when they're genuine? People are pretty good at spotting when a compliment is genuine versus just being polite. So when you genuinely appreciate something about someone, let them know. Wouldn't you want to know if someone was thinking highly of you? When we speak of others in a positive light, people will associate the traits we use to describe that person with ourselves. This happens when we talk about someone to someone else. This is called spontaneous trait transference, and it occurs when communicators are perceived as possessing the very traits they describe in others. According to several studies published in the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology, researchers found that when we describe someone with a certain trait to another person, that person will associate us with the trait described. So who will you compliment next? And number 5, you're a great listener and allow others to talk about themselves too. Who doesn't love having a caring friend who is a great listener? It's great to allow both parties to talk a bit about themselves when having a conversation. And if you really want someone to like you, The key may just be to simply listen to them. Let them talk about themselves for a while too. Harvard researchers discovered that taking the time to talk about yourself can have its rewards. In one of the 5 studies, subjects sat in an fMRI machine and had to respond to questions about either their own opinions on a subject or another's. Regions of the brain associated with reward and motivation were most active when talking about their own thoughts on a subject as opposed to others. In fact, the need to talk about ourselves is so strong that in another study conducted by Harvard researchers, some subjects even declined money to talk about themselves more. As the research article states, self-disclosure was strongly associated with increased activation in brain regions that form the mesolimbic dopamine system, including the nucleus accumbens and ventral tegmental area. Moreover, individuals were willing to forego money to disclose about the self. Don't be afraid to share your opinions and thoughts, but also remember to listen to theirs as well. They may just like you for it, and you may just hear something about them that you like. So, do you do any of these things? Will you work on your listening skills? Be less embarrassed when you make a small blunder? Feel free to share with us your thoughts in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to click the like button and share it with a friend.